Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I want to quickly show you how to make a cargo pocket like this, the perfect way, the easiest way to do it. So stay tuned in this video, and before the end of this video you understand and know how to make a perfect cargo pocket like this. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm using a stiff neck because I want it to be very thick. Right, I want it to be thick. So most people use gum stir, but I'm using stiff neck. And then the measurement is, the width is 7 inches and then the length is 8 inches. So it is 7 by 8 inches. Alright, so this is the fabric that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to gum it on this fabric. So that's the first step. So it has a gummy area, and it has the right side and the wrong side. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to gum it on the fabric. So I'll do that quickly and then get back to the video. Alright, so as you can see right here, I've gummed it using an iron. Using an iron to gum it, then cut off the extras, leaving a 1/4 inches. You can see the little extras I'm leaving on the side. Make sure that you're not cutting it exactly where the stiff neck ends. You understand? So the 3 sides we have extra 1/4 inches, while the upper area, which is going to be the entrance to the pocket, is going to have like about 2 or 1.5 inches, just as you're seeing in this video. Okay, yeah, so here I'm trying to trim it. So this is what I mean. The upper side is going to have about 1.5 inches, because that's the part where the pocket is going to be opening from. You understand? While the other side is going to have 1/4 inch. Hope you understand. Yeah, so this is the next part, and then the next part we are going to go into is to cut the straight line. The straight fabric that we are going to be joining at the edges, these 3 angles these sides, understand, these sides. So to cut the fabric to join on that side, I'm going to measure it round, so that I will make sure that the fabric I'm cutting is going to be long enough to go around. You understand? So right here I'm just turning the fabric, more like measuring it round. You understand? Just as you can see in the video. Okay, so with the measurement that I measured, I'm now going to use it to cut this fabric. Now the length is about 28 inches or 27 inches rather, so with the width of 2 inches. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be cutting out here. The width of 2 inches and the length of 27 inches. This is the fabric that I'm going to be joining on the side of the pocket. You understand? Which is the reason why we left a 1/4 inches there, because of this joining. Okay, so now we are in the machine. First of all, before we join it, we are going to fold this upper side, which is going to form the entrance to the pocket. Understand? Then after we are done with this, we are now going to proceed to join in the fabric that we've already cut on the sides of the pocket. So we are going to do that quickly. Now this is the part where you pay attention, because any little mistake here will affect the outcome of the pocket. So you fold it in this way. Hope you can see. This is the upper side. So we are joining it round these areas. You fold it in this way and then stitch on that 1/4 inch. Now at this point, it is important to make sure that you don't stitch on the stiff neck, which is the reason why we have a 1/4 inches allowance. Alright, so when you get to this edge, what you do is simple. Raise your foot up, release the foot up, and then turn the fabric. Hope you see what I did there. And then bring it down again and continue. It's that simple. Okay, so when you get to this other edge, what you do is raise your machine foot. Once you raise your machine foot, while the needle is inside the fabric, then you raise the foot up, turn it, bring the foot down and continue. Okay. It is important that while raising the foot up, the needle has to be inside the fabric. Alright, that's the best way. So that when you turn it, it will not lose balance. You understand? Now, we are through with the joining of the fabric. And then the next part is we are now going to turn it over to the front. Okay, so I hope you understand the parts that we've gone through now to get to this point. So this is the point where we are now. You can see how the joining is. And now we are now going to push this to the back. Alright, you are pushing this to the back and then running a stitch on top of it. Hope you can see that. Now it's important to make sure that the joining moves to the back. The line of the joining is moving to the back or at the center. You understand? Let it not be visible on top of the pocket. Alright, so you make sure you push it in and then run your stitch on top of it. Make sure you move it in and then run your stitch on top of it. That's the best way to get a smooth finishing. Now the same thing I told you here, move your needle in, raise your foot, your machine foot, and then turn it, bring it down again and continue. If you don't do it this way, you will not get a perfect finishing. Move your needle in, raise the foot, turn the fabric and continue. You understand? Now in a situation like this where it tries to be too hard, you can now bring it out totally and move it in again and continue. Alright. You can see what I did here. Now cut off the extras, the stitches. Now see what we have here, and then we are now going to join it on the fabric. Now what we'll do here is place this material, the pocket, on the first surface where you want to stitch it, as you are seeing it here, and then mark it with your chalk. You can see what I'm doing here. That part, the area where you want to fix this pocket, place the pocket down and then mark the chalk around the pocket. Okay. Now this chalk is going to form a boundary for you when you are fixing the pocket. That way you don't go beyond the chalk. Alright, so that is the purpose of marking it, because while fixing the pocket without this mark of boundary, you are bound to move beyond the area where you're supposed to be now. But once you have this area here, you now know that the pocket is bound to be inside this mark. Alright, so that's the easiest way to do it. Now we are now folding it like this and then placing it inside the mark. Now everything we are doing now, that mark that we gave there is going to serve as a boundary. We are not going beyond it. Alright, we are not going beyond it. Now follow the mark to stitch the pockets on the fabric. Now this is very simple and easy. Okay. So if you have watched to this point, I want you to comment where you're watching from and tell me if you also use this pattern to sew your cargo pockets, or you use a different pattern that you might like to share. Alright. Maybe this one is a little tedious for you. Tell me the pattern that you use in making your cargo pockets, so you can see how it's turning out already. Okay, I like this pattern because it's usually smooth and neat for me, you understand. Now because of that mark that I gave there, you can see how I'm making sure that I'm inside the line, and in the end you see how straight and smooth it is looking. Now look at this. Now at this point I'm just going to do a little notch on the top, and then we have our cargo pockets. Very easy and simple. Okay, hope you can see that. Okay, so thanks for watching. Like, share, and comment. Thanks for watching once again. You can see how it looks. You can see that. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.